Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. So in today's video I want to talk about 10 life lessons that I have learned from doing a PhD so far, with the hope that if you have to go through anything challenging, hopefully some of the things that I've learned will give you some insight into how to cope with difficult circumstances. And I hope that you would enjoy this video. But before I get into today's video, I want to say I am so sorry that I haven't filmed a video in 7 months. I know it is quite a long time, and it's actually because my PhD is in such a delicate stage and it just required a lot of focus, in addition to the fact that I just felt like I needed to take a step back to like reflect on my videos so far and the kind of videos that I want to be making going forward on YouTube. So yeah, that's mostly the reason why I have not been filming videos, but I have a lot of videos planned, honestly, and I hope that you guys will just please stick around with me. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Eni. I am a third year PhD student in Leeds. I am studying calcium carbonate scale formation, and yeah, I'm just, you know, a normal girl that is hoping that with my YouTube channel, some of the things that I learn, I'll be able to share it with the hope that it can help somebody later on. And also, I just want to say thank you so much to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate your love and your support, and thank you so much for joining the family. And to all my old subscribers, thank you so much for sticking with me even when I am not very consistent with posting videos. It's just because my PhD is in such a delicate stage. I am currently in third year, and it just requires a lot of focus. In the video I'm going to be talking more about what my routine looks like and the reason why it's just been really difficult to film a video. But I really appreciate the fact that you guys are still sticking with me, and we will get through this. And after my PhD I plan to be banging out videos like 2 times a week. But yeah, please continue to stay with me and encourage. Your subscription means the whole world to me. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and also click the notification bell so that you can get notified when I film videos. So I had my second year review in April, and my examiner actually said that I am making excellent progress. The reason I'm sharing this news is so that you take me seriously when I'm giving you advice, because I mean, why would you want to take advice from somebody that is not making progress? So I think it is important for you to know how these things I'm going to be sharing is affecting my progress with my PhD, so that you know that is actually something that works, because it works for me. So the first 10 that I've learned in order to be able to be productive or to get the results that you want is that, first of all, you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan that is very clear and is written out very clearly. And then secondly, on that plan you have to have a priority list, something that is like the most important thing. And then thirdly is execution, and in order to be able to execute something you have to focus on one thing at a time. This is something that I apply with my experimental work, and this has been very helpful for me to be able to get results. And I think that this is some of the things that helped me to be at the stage where I'm at with my PhD, is that I always write a plan out for the week, and on that plan there is a priority list. And what that priority means is, if I don't do this thing, if I don't do this thing that's on my priority list, I am not doing anything else. So all my energy is dedicated to that priority, if that makes sense. And then I just have to focus. I have to focus on that particular thing. And also it is important to focus on something that you know that is giving you results. Okay, not focusing on, even if like you have it, like for me for example, I have 3 different equipments that I use, and one of those equipment doesn't always is always giving me like sometimes it gives me good results and sometimes it doesn't. And then there is one equipment that I know that if I use this equipment, I'm always going to get good results. So what I do is that even though the other equipment that doesn't give me good results, the results that I'm going to get from that equipment is very, very important. I always focus on that equipment that gives me results. So in order to be able to get a lot of results, it is important to focus on something that you know that will give you good results, as opposed to focusing on something that historically you know that this thing will not give me results. It's important to focus on the things that you know that if I do this thing, I am going to get results. And I think that this is one of the things that really helps me to be in this position that I'm in. And some of the things that I've applied in my PhD is the ability to focus on what is giving you results. So I think there's a popular saying that you put 80% of your energy into 20% of something that you know that will give you results. And then when you focus on the 80%, on the 20% that gives you results, then you can dedicate time into the other things that's not giving you as much results. And this is imperative in order to be able to produce the results, even if yeah, in order to be able to produce results. And another thing about focus is that it is like we shouldn't, something that I've learned in my PhD is that don't compare yourself to anybody. So in order for you to focus, you also cannot be thinking about what other people are doing. It is important to be aware of like broadly what is going on around you, but I think that just that shouldn't be a distraction. That can maybe something that can be something that can inspire you, but it shouldn't be a distraction. Like for example, sometimes I might be the only person in the labs, and it can be a bit worrying. I might question, like, am I supposed to be in the lab, or is everybody else doing something that I'm not aware of? But as far as I have my plan and I'm focused on that plan, I'm actually in the lab to execute the plan, I think that for me is more important than worrying about what other people are doing. In addition to focus, is important. This quote is very, very important. This quote says, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you're doing something and you know that this thing, I've done it like 3 times and it's not giving me the result I want, move on to the next thing, because there is a chance that if you do it the 4th time, you're not going to get results. So I think this is where we have to be honest with ourselves, and that way we are able to channel our energy into something that would actually give us results. And if you're in a position where you keep trying something and you're not getting the results that you want, I think that maybe the obvious next step is to ask somebody, as opposed to keep wasting your time trying to chase something that isn't giving you the results that you want. Second life lesson that I have learned from doing my PhD so far is that it is important to have a routine that you actually like. And this is what my daily routine looks like. I wake up, I pray. I'm a Christian, in case you don't know. So I pray, I share Bible quotes on social media, and then I go in and get dressed. And whilst getting dressed, this is actually very, very important, I always listen to music. I always listen to gospel music, and that just like really gets me excited about the day. I eat breakfast. Sometimes I do like exercises in the morning, and then I just get pumped and then get dressed, go into university. I go in and I focus on the tasks that I have on my plan. I focus on my priority and I just make sure I execute that. I'm in uni from about 9 to 6. I come back home, relax, do a bit more work, maybe watch a video on YouTube, pray, sleep, and then we're back again. And I think it is important to have that kind of routine that you actually enjoy. For me, I really, really like waking up and praying and listening to music. That just gets me really excited. And also like having a nice breakfast, because breakfast is actually very important. Like for me, if I eat breakfast, I'm good. During the day, like I can just have a little snack for lunch. by the way, this is something that I do. It doesn't have to be like the same for you, but this is something that I like. The reason I'm saying this is just to make the point that it is important to have a good breakfast, because that kind of like sets you up for the day, and you might not need to like worry about eating, or because that might be something that's like a distraction. Like if you didn't have breakfast, then you might be hungry before lunch or whatever. But just my having a nice breakfast, having even my food planned is very, very important. So that's the second point, is having a routine that you actually enjoy. And the third thing that I've learned so far with my PhD journey is daily affirmations are so important. In fact, I think they're imperative. Reading daily affirmations out loud every day is so important. I'll put a clip of some of the affirmations that I read every morning. And I think affirmations are very, very important, because in life you just have people, we come into contact with different people that don't know us. Sometimes they don't have very positive things to say about us, and sometimes even we ourselves, we doubt ourselves. And I think what daily affirmations do is that it's a daily reminder that you are an amazing person, that you have the capacity and the strength to be able to overcome challenges. And it's just a way of kind of like, I'm trying to think of the word, a way of trying to like just hype yourself up and reminding yourself of how amazing you are. And this is the kind of energy that you use to approach any task. And I think that just gives you a bit of a push, a bit of an, an edge to keep you going, even when everything else seems to not be working. And as a PhD student, a lot of things don't go to plan. And sometimes sometimes I come into contact with people that are just very condescending towards me. And so like affirmations are a way of me daily reminding myself that there is nothing impossible for me to do, especially because I'm a child of God, I'm a Christian, and because God is the most powerful person in the whole world, and I'm his child, and he's with me. So there's nothing impossible for me to do as well. So the third thing that I've learned is daily affirmations are important. I will see how long this video is, and I might just have a part 2 that I post later on, because I don't want to be posting like very long videos, because I find that shorter videos tend to work better on YouTube. So that's the third life lesson that I've learned, is that it is important to have daily affirmations and to actually read those affirmations out loud and mean it when you read it. One thing that I have learned so far from doing a PhD, and I've said this in my previous video, is that good relationships are just imperative to our thriving and our quality of life as human beings. Human beings are not designed to live in isolation, and because a PhD is something that you're doing, well, like you're studying something that is just you that is studying it, so it can be quite isolating in its nature, but it doesn't have to be. It's important to develop good relationships, both like within the PhD circle and also outside of it, because these are the things that would actually help you, especially, or just to help you to just have a good life, period. In addition to the fact that, especially like for me, when I'm struggling, or even when I'm having good victories, so when I'm struggling, it's just good to have somebody that I can go to and tell them exactly what I'm going through. And also when I'm doing something well, just having someone to say, oh, this happened, and to have someone to just share the lows and the highs of doing a PhD with. And yeah, just having good relationships is just imperative. And yeah, so this is the third thing that I've learned from doing a PhD. And another thing that comes under having good relationships is that it is important to confront your feelings, to be able to say exactly how you feel, even if it's like not something that you can't believe that you are actually feeling this way, because that is how we get through difficult stages in life, is by actually confronting the position that you're in right now. And then from that place of honesty, that's when you can actually develop means and strategies of coping with that difficulties. So, and the way that we're able to heal from different difficulties is by actually confronting our emotions by talking to somebody. And this is where relationships comes in as well, having good deep relationships. And it is important to also be able to open ourselves up and allow people in, obviously not just everyone, but people that we feel like we can trust. People that we feel like we can trust. It is important to be able to open ourselves up and actually confront our emotions. There are times when I'm having difficult challenges with my PhD, I will just call my friend and cry. I'll just have a good cry. And I think that just from that place of honesty, I'm able to confront the reality that I'm facing, and also to be able to develop means of going forward. So this is the third thing that I've learned so far from doing a PhD, is that it is important to develop good relationships, because this just improves our quality of life, our ability to deal with difficult situation. And it's also good to have somebody to be able to share our highs and lows with. So this is the third thing. And then the fifth one that I want to share today is that there is no point in worrying over things that you cannot control. I have said this in my previous videos, but it's so important. I'm going to say it again and again and again, especially in the PhD, because a lot of things just don't go to plan. Like there's just, and the reality is that a lot of the situations, there's just nothing I can do about it. If an equipment breaks down, like, is entirely out of my control. There's one equipment I was using, and the gas just there was a gas leak, and that took about 5 months to fix. And that 5 months means that that specific equipment, I couldn't get results from it, results that is important for my progress as a PhD student. And because I just have this quote at the back of my mind saying there is no point stressing over something that I cannot control, I was able to just channel my energy into other things, even though like that wasn't the plan. But I think that's where flexibility comes in, and not worrying over something that you cannot control, because that ultimately is not going to solve the problem. That's just going to make you stressed and yeah, quite unproductive. And there is this quote from Tim Keller that I'm going to read about worrying. It says, "Worry is a refusal to assume a humble posture before God. Anyone that worries thinks they know how things should go, but only God knows that. Instead, tell God, you know what I need. I put my life in your hands. I'm a child, you're my father." So what that quote is saying essentially is that worrying is when you can't, because I'm a Christian, I believe that God is in control of everything. And I also believe that God knows what's going to happen in, like, 1 week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. And for me, my duty as a Christian is to just humble myself before God and trust him that even though the plan isn't going the way I want to, I trust that because he loves me, he would, like, regardless of what happens, I will be fine, because I know that I serve a God that loves me, and ultimately who wants the best for me. And I know that, like, regardless of what that plan looks like, and sometimes God's plan might seem to us as something that just completely unbearable. Like, what if it is a chance that maybe I might not finish my PhD? I think that it is important to trust God and to just have that humble position, because ultimately God is the one that is in control of everything. He's the one that knows the future. He's the one that knows what is best for us. And so when I'm in a situation that I cannot control, I just remind myself that God is in control of everything. God is the only one that knows tomorrow. And I can just focus on trusting him, and also focus on making the best with what I have. Yeah, and I think it's just, yeah, I'm trying to think of how to explain it better, but I think of an example of a 1-year-old child and an 80-year-old grandma. So just to put things in context, the 80-year-old grandma is always taking care of that 1-year-old child, and then it gets to a point where the 80-year-old grandma is not allowing that child to maybe watch TV or something. In the head of that 1-year-old child, that 80-year-old grandma is like, doing the worst thing in the world. That's because that 1 year old does not even have the mental capacity to understand the reason that the 80-year-old grandma does not want him to watch TV. And I think that I relate that as me and God. For me, I relate my, like, the way that I relate to God is like I'm a 1 year old child and God is like that 80-year-old grandma. This is just trying to put things in context. Obviously this is not the case. In reality, God is far wiser than an 80-year-old grandma. But the point I'm trying to make is that me, in comparison to God, I am like a 1 year old, and then God is like the 80-year-old grandmother that is always taking care of me. And so even when I don't understand what God is doing, me as a 1 year old child, my duty is to trust God, because and I can trust God because historically he's been faithful to me. So that is one of the things that really help me when I'm in a situation that is not going my way, is that I just focus on trusting God, and I focus on doing the best with what I have, and just trusting that even if I don't get what I want, God is wiser than I am. He knows the end and he loves me. So whatever happens, it will be for my good. And I hope that, yeah, that helps you. I might have to stop the video here because I'm not sure how long it is and I don't want my videos to be long. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this part of the video so far. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.